Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your June 2025 master video. So June really cracks open the vault. The hidden dynamics, emotional, financial, psychological start to surface. And what was once background noise really is about to become the main storyline. So this month, your job isn't to run, it's to look squarely at what has been brewing behind the curtain. That doesn't mean loss, it just means liberation, right? And so with Jupiter moving into your eighth house and a full moon in your sign, something fundamental is about to shift this month. Your future is really asking you for a deeper sense of commitment, and your truth really is the entry price into that room. With that said, my name is Raphael. I am an astrologer, tarot reader, numerologist, and energy worker. For those of you that don't know, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi Love Shirt. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. Now, quick one. If you are asking that question that a lot of people seem to ask, I'm going to put it in the comments, but tarot seems to favor the sun sign, whereas in astrology, you already know if you've been with me, I am using whole sign tropical Western astrology, which favors the ascendant sign. So if you want to know which one of these you should be watching to get the most accurate picture for yourself, it really is both, right? Watch your sun and your ascendant sign because that's going to give you the most accurate information on that cohesive level. With that said, let's get into it. On the first of the month, Venus is going to conjunct Chiron, and this is happening for you in your fifth house. This one lands in the heart, right? The fifth house is your heart. It's your self-expression. It's love, romance, joy, creativity. Venus is harmony, diplomacy, and love. And coming into a connection with Chiron, the house of romance and creativity and self-expression are activating a core wound around being loved for just who you really are. If, old fears around being too much, maybe not enough, or unseen are, potentially coming up at this time, the ache is an invitation, right? You're being asked to really engage in healing. You're really being asked to really, and not just from heartbreak, but also from the ways that you've learned to censor and edit your own joy just for the sake of feeling them. This is a moment where you stop asking for permission to shine, right? And you just start doing it from that heart space level. On the 6th of the month, Venus is going to come back into her own sign of the sign of Taurus, into your sixth house. And then on the same day, the moon is going to be in Libra. So there's a lot of really powerful Venusian energy in the sky because the ruler of that moon, Venus, rules Libra as well. So there's a lot of strong Venus energy in the sky at the time. And that moon is going to trine Mercury, who will be in the seventh house at the time, right? So Venus moving into that grounded, earthy, practical Taurian element of your chart in the sixth house of your physical health, vitality, daily experience. She's setting her sights on your daily routines and your work life, and maybe even your service to the world. If you've been running on empty, this is a call for you to soften the grind, right? To smooth off the edges, infuse your day with more beauty and more pleasure and more purpose. This is a really good time for you to negotiate work terms or refine your wellness practices. And that moon in a trine to Mercury opens up a sweet spot in your social experience to have conversations around meaningful ideas of friends, partnership. And these could really reaffirm your direction and the direction that you feel like you're heading in. On the 8th of the month, Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter in your seventh house. This is a conversation, a big interaction of some sort. This is Mercury and Jupiter coming together at 29 degrees of Gemini. A conversation could really change everything in a relationship, in a partnership, in a collaboration. And remember, the seventh house is contract, it is partnerships and relationships, but it's across all of those fields: personal, professional, platonic, some of them even familial. Mercury coming into that conjunction with Jupiter is really making this an expansive moment for your relationships, for love, for partnership, for contracts, or even collaborations. If you've been in talks with someone professionally or romantically, things could really crystallize for you now. And the energy supports commitment, but also clarity. If something's really, or something, or someone actually is not aligned for you, you're going to feel it. And I will say, speak your mind at this time. Not that Sagittarius ever need any help with that, with your whole being, right? On the 9th of the month, Mercury comes into the sign of Cancer, moving into your eighth house. Your thoughts do kind of go a bit more subterranean here. The eighth house is not an overt one, it's an occult house. And so, what this means is maybe your mind turns towards things more like, astrology, tarot, numerology. This is a great time to have a reading with somebody like those kinds of practices. It's a fantastic time to go and see a medium as well. This could be a really good time. It's sharpening your own intuition. It's pulling your conversations into, the realms of intimacy and power and powerlessness and money, joint resources. It's a really ideal time for you to handle or get a handle on joint finances, or even to renegotiate emotional boundaries, right? Speaking honestly and openly about how you really feel about something in a deep way is really what's going to allow you to move forward at this time. Now, not everything should be public right now, right? This is, after all, Mercury in the eighth house, but it's in Cancer. So some of your really deep emotional stuff, psychological baggage, wounding, challenges. Your eighth house is also crises and trauma. Some of this stuff might really be coming to the fore at the moment. And I will say this: trust the whisper over the shouting. And more importantly, this would be a really good time for you to see somebody in a healing or a transformative capacity, especially somebody like a therapist or a counselor, maybe even an energy worker, right? Like, you could really get a lot out of this moment in time. On the 10th of the month, oh, yeah, and obviously, as if that wasn't enough, Mercury being the herald, right? The messenger god, he comes in with his little presenting the Lord Jupiter. Because on the 10th, Jupiter then enters the sign of Cancer into your eighth house. On the same day, Mercury and Jupiter are going to square Saturn and Neptune in the eighth, and so this is happening across your eighth house and also your fifth house. And this goes right the way through it's like the 10th to the 12th, I would say, but certainly onward, right? Now, that being said, Jupiter will expand whatever it touches and wherever it goes. It's going to be in this eighth house, exalted in the sign of Cancer for the next 12 months, right? Over the course of the next year. This is a once in 12 year transit, and wherever Jupiter goes, it expands that area. So your interest in spiritual, psychic, occult matters is going to be that much more palpable. You might find yourself being drawn more to astrologers, tarot readers, numerologists, energy workers, people that are into human design or anything of these natures. And Jupiter also represents and brings healing wherever it goes, as well as blessings, right? So this could expand your ability to make money from or through other people. That could be really nice, but it could also, um, because the eighth house being a transformation house and Jupiter being healing, this could be some kind of really profound spiritual healing that begins now, right? It might unfold over time. And because Jupiter expands things, maybe some of your crises or your trauma or your history from your past comes up and it's like really palpable. It feels like that much bigger than it used to be because it's coming to the surface so that you can heal this, so that you can move beyond it. Now, the fifth house and the eighth house are both financial houses, especially when it comes to things like investments. So, and remember, Saturn is a reality check. So, in that fifth house, Saturn is restricting, potentially restricting your joy, but certainly seeing you kind of say to yourself, especially in a square to Jupiter in the eighth house, Maybe there's a moment here where you have to check yourself economically to say, you know what, I love to do this and I love to do this and I love to do this, but actually, I'm spending too much money on these things and I need to get really realistic about how I'm replenishing that money. Where is it coming from? What am I doing with these resources? It's forcing you to get really honest and really serious about how you're using your money, how you're using your finances in relation to the things that you want or need to do, and whether those creative ideas, expressed projects, etc., or passion projects are actually going to turn a buck. As if all of that wasn't enough, because Neptune is involved in this as well, and it's in that fifth house. If you've got children, this could be a time where certainly this period, and I would say probably for the 2 weeks that follow this, let's say, because remember you, and don't forget, obviously you're going to have this energy continue for a little while. Luckily, obviously, both Saturn and Neptune will retrograde out of Aries and come back into Pisces, by which time Jupiter will have moved quite far on, actually. So, just know that this will come up and it will be a thing. Now, that Neptune energy, there might be something around children that gets a little bit confusing, excuse me, or something that really does need to be observed. Now, as if all of that wasn't enough, on the 17th of the month, Mars, the planet of war, challenge, conflict, excitation, removal, it's the scalpel, right? Mars in Virgo is precise. This is decisive precision action. It's just, Mars in Virgo doesn't mess about. It's a good little soldier that knows what it's doing. And in the 10th house, this is you getting really serious, really proactive about your career. Mars moving through that 10th house of status and your public role, lighting a fire under your tushy when it comes to your ambition or the legacy in the world that you want to achieve. You're ready to make bold moves at this time. But it's not like a chaotic hustle. This is precise, methodical, long game planning and action, right? This is Mars as a strategist as opposed to just like a meathead with a sword. Mars here wants discipline, not drama, right? Expect intensity in the workplace or around or with authority figures. That's possible, but you're being asked to lead here, and this is really a time for you to rise to it. On the 21st of the month, the sun, our ever life-giving principle, is coming into the sign of Cancer. This is the summer solstice here in the northern, winter in the southern. But this is a 3-month check-in where the sun and the solstice energy is shining a light on your most private self, or certainly one aspect of your most private self. The fourth, the eighth, and the 12th are the most private aspects of us in the chart. What's happening behind closed doors, whenever this comes to your money, your resources, whether it comes to your sexuality and your sensuality and how you're exploring or experiencing those, your deep emotions, your deep psychological makeup. Your deep emotions is actually more the fourth house. But these things are taking center stage at the moment, and it's like your inner growth, you're on an or traveling through an inner growth cycle. And so this is not really about outward performance. And the sun for you rules your ninth house, right? So your beliefs around your money and your finances, your beliefs around sex and sensuality, your beliefs around your wounds, your histories, your traumas could really be coming up in a big way for you to take a really good look at them to say, okay, how do I actually feel about this? What does that tell me, right? Our feelings are they're not just a guidance system, but your feelings are information. So what do you feel about this? What is this telling me that my beliefs actually are? Because the sun rules Leo. Leo for you is the ninth house. It's a checkpoint. So check yourself, right? Listen to what your deep emotional needs are trying to say to you. On the 22nd of the month, Mercury is going to sextile the south node and it's going to trine the north node north node in Pisces, the south node in Virgo. So those nodal axes are across your fourth house and your 10th house. Mercury is going to be in your eighth house. So this is an important or fated communication of some sort. Mercury, communication, conversation, interaction, maybe even a contract in the eighth house, money, resources, maybe something of a spiritual nature, comes into conversation and connection with the nodes around your home, your property, your family, and your living space, and also your career and your social status. So, something that's shared with you at the moment is coming in, and it's like this might be where the past meets the future in a really big way, and maybe a work situation or a financial contract of some sort really comes to the fore. On the 23rd of the month, Mercury is going to square Chiron. This is again across that eighth, fifth house sort of part of your chart. A raw spot may really come up around this moment of the month, whether this is romantic vulnerability, potentially creative insecurity, or a deep fear of loss, right? Like of losing something or something going away. This transit is bringing this really into focus for you, and it might be something that you maybe end up giving voice to a really deep-rooted fear. You might realize that you're withholding something that actually really wants or needs to be expressed through you. And I would say find a creative way to do it. So, I can talk about this. I won't go into any details to give anything away, but I remember having a client who was an artist, and I said to her, why don't you paint, like pick an emotion and then paint it and use different mediums to tell that story? And the results were incredible. All right. Now, you might realize that you have been holding something back. So, your truth really is safe when you stand behind it. All right. And you put it forward. On the 24th of the month, Jupiter, your ruling planet, your ruling energy, now in its sign of exaltation in your eighth house, is going Kazemi, right? So this is Jupiter and the Sun coming together. It happens once a year. This is the Lord of Blessings and the illuminative Sun coming into a conjunction. This is healing and empowerment and potentially a breakthrough around joint finances, money, or resources. It could be an inheritance, it could be a loan, it could be a mortgage. If you're in a situation where you think, I'm never going to be able to get a mortgage, this may change that for you. If you're in a situation where you think, you know what, I might never be free of this, I feel like I'll never be healed from this thing, this could change this for you. This is the kind of aspect that opens doors that have been locked or formally shut to you, or maybe even doors that you didn't even know existed. You're not just seeing the pattern, you're ready to rewrite the pattern in some way. This is like a sacred PowerPoint. Handle it with intention, all right? On the 25th of the month, Mercury is going to sextile Uranus, and Uranus is obviously in the sign of Taurus in your sixth house of your physical health and vitality. Innovation meets intuition. This is like you find a solution to a health issue, a work pattern, or even a financial tangle of some sort that has long defied logic in some way. Sorry, I got a bloody itch right on the tip of the lid. Um, and so this is like where a breakthrough really comes forward, and it's like your thinking really is going to serve you best, especially if you let go of the need to have every single part of this mapped out. I mean, most of the time you guys aren't like that anyway. Sagittarius is more of a broad strokes kind of energy. But I will say yes to what feels different, but also feels right at the same time. On the 26th of the month, the Sun is going to sextile Mars. This is happening across your eighth house and your 10th house, right? So your career and your social status, but also your deep-seated or rooted personal power. Your drive meets purpose. The Sun in your eighth house, Mars in your 10th house, right, are creating this momentum behind a professional shift or maybe even a major decision that you make. And you might make one at this time to sort of really go in a direction with everything that you have. It's kind of like an all guns blazing energy. Whether you're asking for more money, whether you're setting a boundary, whether you're stepping into a new role, this is brave, embodied leadership. And I will say, it was like, you don't have to be loud to be powerful, which I think you already know. Mercury on the 27th of the month comes into Leo, into your ninth house. Your voice lifts. People are hearing you. Mercury in Leo is stoking that philosophical fire that you guys have. You're drawn to speak something into the, to share, to maybe put something out into the public, maybe to teach something, but in a way that really feels bolder and more authentic to you in some way. This is a great transit for launching a message, stepping into a mentorship, becoming a mentor. Say it with your entire soul. Remember, though, Mercury is going to go retrograde here later. And then on the 29th of the month, Mercury is going to oppose Pluto. This is not easy. This is Mercury in your ninth house of Leo. It's Pluto in your third house of Aquarius, and they're going head to head. This is a confrontation of beliefs. It's an argument. It could be a legal matter or situation that unfolds or intensifies if it's already going on. Maybe a moment where you realize something that you've been told or something that's been shared with you is just not true. Stay rooted at this time because you don't need to convince anybody of how right you are, but you do need to speak from the truth that you have earned or that you understand at a really deep level. And with the nature of an opposition is there's no way around it or over it or under it. You have to meet it head on, right? And then finally, on the 30th of the month, Venus is going to start her conjunction to Uranus. Um, and this will happen in your sixth house. A shake up in your daily life, your work, your rhythm, your habits, your patterns, your routines. Maybe even a health approach as well in some regard. Venus and Uranus coming together brings sudden shifts or changes but also potentially surprise blessings as well. Don't forget that, right? It might look like a job change. It might be an unexpected diagnosis. It could be a revolutionary new habit or suggestion that comes in. Trust the disruption at this time, right? Because it's clearing space for some kind of real or new alignment. Now, I'm no longer going to be putting the lunations in these videos because as you can see, they're already well, I say too long. It's just that obviously a lot of people clicking off, etc., because they're too long, bloody, bloody, blah. It's hurting the algorithm, yada, yada, yada. And I've already blown up my channel, so I need to do everything I can to help it, right? Now, that being said, I want to tell you about the card blending workshop on June the 7th and June the 8th. I will be holding a card blending workshop. I'm going to show you how to weave the cards together to get those cohesive messages that I bring you, as you know, when I do. I was going to say weekly, but I no longer do. And also it's over the 7th and the 8th of June. It's 4 hours each day. This is going to be practical, hands-on guidance that you will be using on the days that we do it. You will get the recording so you can watch it back and you can really study the material. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of you have asked for this, so I really hope that you sign up. And also, I will say it's not for the total beginner. Like if you know nothing about tarot, if you haven't got the basic meanings of the card or the structures of the deck, it's going to be too advanced for you. But if you know that stuff, get on. The first 20 will get £20, £25 off, or that offer will end on the 31st, whichever one comes. There are more spaces than 20, so don't panic if you have to wait until the end of the month and they're all gone. It's kind of as and when, but if you want the discount, you know what to do. There's a link in the description box below. With that said, if you want to book a personal reading with me as well, you can do so on the link in the description box below. And take care, and let's get into your tarot for the month. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your June 2025 tarot section of your Master Monthly. Let's get straight into it. So these are the decks I'll be using for you today. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to give these a shuffle. And for your key to the month of June, can you believe it, is the Fool card. New things, new places, new people, and new energies. Remember, the Fool card is kind of like a cosmic reset, right? This is where we get to press that button and in some way, shape or form, we get to start again. But when I talk about this card being what I like to say as like an inversion of your reality, sometimes the Fool card's reboot or reset is a reminder that actually there are times where you have to really step back from things and do them differently, right? To go in different directions, to go in new directions. And sometimes it's really literally about turning your life on its head, not just to upset the apple cart, as it were, but just to say, like, if you don't do something different or something new, you're, you know, the saying, like here in the UK, we've got this old wives saying that was, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got, right? Which is a really pithy way of saying, if you don't change anything, then nothing changes, okay? Now, for your before we get into your actions and options, I do want to let you know, which I've probably already done, but I'm going to put it here as well, my card blending workshop, the doors are open. So the workshop itself is on the 7th and 8th. It is online. There will be a recording for those of you that ask, and basically what I'm going to be showing you in this, it's going to be interactive, there's going to be examples, there's going to be exercises. This is about how to blend the card meanings together. It's not about, and I will say, like, if you don't have a basic grasp of what each card means and the structure of the deck, the majors and the minors, this is probably not, it's a course that's probably too advanced for you. I would see, you know, other things that I have. That being said, if you know that, if you are intermediate, if you are advanced or a pro, you're going to love this. This is totally for you guys, right? It's that next level stuff. And ultimately, blending the card meanings together is what helps you answer questions and bring you that cohesive stuff. So if you want to find out more about this and you think, you know what, that sounds like a little bit of me, there is a link in the description box below. Click it and it's going to answer all of your questions. Is this for you? What do you need to know? When is it? How much is it? All of that stuff. You can get that on the link in the description box below. The first 20 people to sign up will get £25 off of the course. And if all of those 20 spaces don't go, then that offer will expire on the 31st of May. All right, so for your actions and options, pow, look at this, right? This for you guys suggests that this is a month of absolute forward momentum. And the reason I say that is because not only does this month your ruling planet, Lord Jupiter, come into his sign of exaltation, oh, that's not even the half of it. Now you have the Fool card, which is the first card in the deck, followed by the first or the last, give or take, depending on how you look at it, but the first card, and then it's followed by the Magician card, which is the card that literally follows this card in the deck's sequence. What this means is you are planting seeds of intention and you are moving ahead at lightning speed, right? This suggests that not only is there movement, but there is power in this month for you. The fact that you have the Magician card as your actions and options, I rarely say this to anybody, but I'm going to say this to you guys. You'd have to work, you know, and I realize how this is going to sound, so don't get offensive. Don't get offended. If you've been with me long enough, you know how I am, but you'd have to work really hard to fuck this up, quite frankly. Your path is clear. Your path is aligned. Whatever you are putting out into the world, whatever seeds you are planting, whatever you are putting out into the world, you are being received loud and clear. Your personal power is in some way, shape or form at its peak, right? Your ruler, Jupiter, is in its sign of exaltation. I mean, what's not to like? And the fact that you've got the Fool and the Magician, it's like you're taking something, you're doing what I like to call the download and go. You get the idea, you act on it and you go for it and it brings you incredible results. In terms of the options that are available to you, there's a chance for you to be recognized as an expert or a leading player in your field in some regard. but it requires you to show up as that. And what I mean by this is, you know, there's a saying here as well. I've got loads of these pithy sayings. If you want to be treated like a manager, you have to act and dress like a manager, right? And it's not always about the aesthetic. I'm sure we all know managers who maybe dress the part, but as soon as they open their mouth, you're like, oh, honey, please close it. Right? You know, we've all had that experience. But my point is, the options that are available to in terms of the options that are available to you, there's a chance for you to really demonstrate your smarts, to demonstrate your personal power. And with the Fool card here, a lot of this stuff just really starts to show up for you. This is a once in 12-year transit, right? It takes 12 years for Jupiter to transit the zodiac, to travel the zodiac, should I say, and this is your moment, right? You got 12 months out of a 12-year transit, right? It's the first time in 12 years that you've had this, and you've got 12 months of it that start from this month. Use it wisely, right? Jupiter enters, I mean, you've seen this in your astrology section anyway. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Wands. If you are anything that you're doing in a group setting, it's really important that you understand that you are probably going to have to be the firm hand on the tiller to get the ship to go where you want it to go. This card is a lot of people talking at once. It's usually very loud, and it can come with challenge, conflict and strife. But one of the things that I've noticed a lot with this card is it comes with a lot of competition. Now, my magical mama, or one of them, should I say, I have several parental figures that I've collected over the course of my life, and I've been very fortunate to do so. All of the teachers and guides that I've had or have in my life, I really have, and I don't care whether this sounds conceited because it isn't about me, it's about them. I have been blessed to have the best. And one of my magical mamas, she always used to say to me, and she really drilled this into me, she said, there are three things in life, Raf, that people always pit themselves against: power, youth, and beauty. And I really took that to heart. You are showing up as the power this month. So expect competition. It's going to go with the territory, right? This is, I mean, you're Sagittarius. Hello. You guys really don't shy away from anything. If anything, a lot of people look at and listen to Sagittarians and they're like, oh shit, here she comes, let's go. Right, or here he comes, let's go. Jokes aside, and a lot of the time with Sagittarius, it's because you guys can back it up. You don't just talk big, but a lot of the time you know your shit, right? So people are like, oh, okay, it's not just talk. Jokes aside, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, if you are in a group project, you will need to be the firm hand on the tiller. If you're employed by somebody else, you will need to be the firm hand on the tiller. But more importantly than this, for all of you, in some way, shape or form, you will find that there is conflict. You will find that there is some kind of competition. You know, all of that childish stuff where people are like, oh, who died and made you boss? Well, everybody else seems to be running around like a headless chicken, Barbara, which is why I'm choosing to take command of the ship, because otherwise we're all going down together, yeah? Jokes aside, I can hear someone in the comments like, not Barbara. I don't know who Barbara is, by the way. She's just one of the people that I pick on when I'm talking about things like this. So if your name is Babs, I love you and I apologize, right? Now, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this will be new teams, new connections that are being forged. But there's like it's like an uncomfortable fit, right? It's kind of like, you know, when you jam the wrong thing in the wrong socket and it gets stuck and you're like, oh shit, now I've got to take the damn thing out and then put it in the right way. You lot are disgusting. We're still talking about teams here, you perverts. Jokes aside, if you, as I say, if you are, you again, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur, etc., you'll need to be the firm hand on the tiller. There will be competition. Maybe that competition is fierce. However, you have it in you to overcome all of that. Absolutely, no doubts whatsoever. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, it is possible here that by pulling rank or setting the record straight in some way, it does set a cat amongst the pigeons. And that message is also for those of you that are employed by somebody else. For your love and relations, you've got the Ace of Swords. I actually love this combination because it means that you and your significant other, so if you're partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, it suggests to me that you and your partner are seeing the results, the tangible results of a solid month's worth of effort, something that you've been having to really keep your eye on, maybe to even micromanage to within an inch of its life. Now you get to see the result of it. You make a final decision and you're able to move on. When it comes to those of you that are single and looking to mingle, there are options, right? It looks to me like there's a lot of social energy going on this month, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are at least 2 or potentially more, and we know Jupiterian people like more. It's the one thing that you and Gemini people have in common, right? Gemini likes options, Jupiter likes more. Now, for when it comes to your money and materials, there is, especially when it comes to partnerships, contracts, etc., there are some things around finances that will need to be considered here. And I will say, if there's something that you've been trying to get over a finish line, I don't want you to cut corners at the end of this, right? Like, let's say you're at the end of something and you're like, oh, you know what? Just give them what they ask for as long as it's done. This may be something that you come to regret, right? So I'm going to say, like, stick in with it, see it through to completion, let it be done, and let it be done properly. Cross your T's and dot your I's. I know you are a broad picture thinker, but this is one of those times where the details and the fine print, especially around financial contracts, is going to matter. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, interesting. If you've had a chronic health problem or situation, first and foremost, let me say, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, this is not a diagnosis, but if you are there might be something that you disagree with one of your healthcare providers on this month. And my advice to you would be to seek a second opinion. And the reason I say that is because I make you right about the observation that you have stated to your healthcare practitioner, but because of what they do, their opinion is always going to come first. So my advice would be get a second opinion from a different healthcare provider just to see if they tally up. When it comes to your, and the reason I say this is I've got to add this because I think it's a really important point. The reason I say this is because I understand doctors know more about the human body than anybody else. They know more about medicine than anybody else. But the truth being, you know your body better than anybody else because you're in it, right? And I had this in 2023 going into 2024. I kept telling my doctor, there's something wrong and you're missing it, right? And she just wouldn't have it. And in the end, I had to really pull her up. And I said to her, you know what, if I have to, I'm going to report you. Because I'm telling you here and now, if I'm telling you I am in my body every single day, you don't see me year round. For me to come to the doctor and say I've got a problem, that in itself should tell you, actually, you know what, you've been with us X amounts of time, I've only seen you once, you're not a hypochondriac or whatever, right? From time I'm telling you something, you're missing it and there's something wrong, I live in my body. So I'm telling you, I know when my body is right and when it is not. She would not have it. In the end, I had to go to a private I had to go to a private doctor in the end, to a dermatologist, because I had this rash on my face and my neck. And and we got to the bottom of the whole thing, right? And like he solved the whole thing in like 10 minutes, but she just wouldn't have it. She wouldn't listen. And so that's why in the end I said to her, you know, I'm going to report you because you clearly just ignoring me for the sake of ignoring me. Anywho, I tell you this story because it looks, whatever it is that you're dealing with, I make you right by this. But my advice would be get another doctor to give you a second opinion so that you've got something to back it up with. That's what I did anyway. When it comes to your home and environment. Sorry, I went completely on a tangent there. When it comes to your home and environment, just make sure, because this could be arguments with the neighbours or potentially with the locality that you live in. There might be some kind of new rule or regulation that's brought in that you either disagree with or that you're not interested in upholding, but it may be something that comes close enough to be a consideration for you regardless. All right, with that said, if you want to book a personal session with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. And don't forget to check out the card blending workshop. With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.